Namaste, everyone. I am presenting to you today a 20-minute format for an AM or a PM practice. I'm going to choose some options. So if you're doing it in the morning, it might be a little bit different, and if you're doing it at night, it might be a little bit different. So completely up to you what you want to do or when you want to do it. I do suggest that you have close to you a journal or some paper and a pen. You might want, especially if it's in the evening, you might want a blanket close to you. And in the evening, you're going to want a chair or a wall close to you, or even you can use the headboard on your bed. But I'll get into that as we get further into the practice. For now, make sure you are in a comfortable seated position, and let's find our breath. And we're just going to take a moment to find our sits bones. We're going to brace our core. And just start to notice the breath here. Letting it come in through the nose and out through the nose if we can. Don't get hung up on it, just continue to breathe. And if this is a morning practice, maybe just start to think about what we have to do today. A little mental checklist or to-do list. Don't analyze it, don't judge it, don't think any more about it and what it involves other than the fact that you have to do it. And that's where the journal and the pen come in. So maybe you pause at this point in time and write all that stuff down, get it out of your head so then you can just focus on your practice for the rest of this session. If this is an evening or a PM practice, the day is ended. Maybe we acknowledge what we've accomplished today, and maybe we start to think about the things we need to do tomorrow. So again, perhaps we take the time to write it down, to get it out of our head, and then we can put it off to the side and not worry about it for the rest of this practice. So if you need to pause to do that, pause now, come back when you're ready. And then when you're ready, coming back to the breath. We're going to do a practice called alternate nostril breathing, and I like to do it because it's a balancing breath. If you're not comfortable with it, just do your 3-part breath or your deep breath. So use your right or left hand, depending on whether you're right or left-handed. We usually use the thumb and the ring finger. You can also use the pinky finger. And we block the right nostril first. So you can use your thumb or ring finger to block it. So we take a nice big inhale through the left. And then block the left, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Block the right and exhale through the left. That's one complete cycle. So let's do that 3 more times. Inhaling through left. Exhaling through right. Inhaling through right. Exhaling through left. 2 more times, just on your own. Once you finish that last cycle, we just let the hand release back down. Take 1 more breath here. And then we're going to make our way onto all fours. So a tabletop position, we want wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, bracing our core, protecting the back. Fists for wrists is always an option here if we do have cranky wrists. And we're just going to move through our cow and our cat. So inhale, we arch, we open up. And then exhale, we tuck in. So just flowing at your own pace with your own breath. Opening up the chest, and then opening up the back. And just noticing, maybe it's in the morning and we're a little bit stiff, so it's a little bit smaller. Maybe it's the evening, we're making it a little bit bigger, and then we start to make it a little smaller, so completely up to you. And we're just creating space in the front body as we open up in our cow. And creating space in the back body as we come through our cat. Noticing how the spine moves, tailbone, the shoulders, the space we can create in the throat and the neck maybe. Let's finish out 1 more of each. And then we're going to make our way to child's pose, or resting pose as I call it. So we can sink back towards our heels. Arms can extend. Maybe we rest the forehead on the floor. We can also stack the hands or the fists to rest the forehead on. We can take the knees a little bit wider and perhaps rock side to side if that feels good. Take a few breaths here. Notice the breath in the back body. 60% of our lung capacity is in the back body, so it's a great place to notice that. If we do have issues with our knees, we can do puppy dog pose instead. So puppy dog pose is on the forearms and we just lift the hips a little bit higher. So again, your choice. Taking a few breaths here, and if this is a PM or an evening pose or practice, maybe you want to just hang out here. Otherwise, we can extend the arms and just start to shift a little bit forward to our kneeling plank, brace, and then pulling back. So just gently flowing forward and back, keeping our movement soft, slow. Bracing our belly, protecting our back. As we come into that kneeling plank, we want to make sure we're not arching the back. Neck is long. We're long right through the crown of the head. And then whether we've been hanging out in that resting pose or not, let's all extend the arms, shift forward, come through our kneeling plank, tuck the elbows in, and lower all the way down. And we're going to find our Sphinx pose. It's a nice gentle back bend. So forearms come to the floor, elbows under, slightly outside shoulders. We want to find that length in our back, and then just lifting up. So just gazing forward, drawing shoulders down, noticing the space we've created in the throat. As we open our heart center, we find our breath again. And then just take a few breaths here. Allowing the jaw to soften, maybe the eyes close. Let's finish out one more whole breath here. And then with our next inhale, we're going to slide the hands underneath shoulders. Exhale, push ourselves back to that resting pose or puppy dog pose. And just take a few more breaths here again. Maybe we rock side to side. Take the knees wider. Finish out a breath here. And then with arms fully extended, we're going to pick up the head. We're going to lift the hips, curl the toes, and we're going to find our downward facing dog. So spreading the fingers, pressing against the floor, lengthening the back. Knees can bend a little bit if the back is rounding. Finding our breath here. Head's just between the arms, elbows are soft. So if we are just waking up and we're feeling a little bit stiff, we can bend the knees a lot. Maybe we nod and shake the head just a little bit. If we like, we can always walk our dog, pedaling out the feet, stretching the toes, stretching the calves, the Achilles. Make it your own. Let's take one or two more breaths here. Enjoying some time upside down. And then make our way back to that resting pose or puppy dog pose. Spend as long as you want here. Settle in a little bit. Again, maybe we stack the hands or stack the fists. But for now, we're going to pick ourselves up and we're going to come onto our back. So when we come onto our back, anytime we're in a supine position like this, constructive rest with the knees bent and the back on the floor is our go-to if we need a break. We can come here anytime we like and just windshield wipe the legs. Kind of releases the back, maybe massages it a little bit, resets the hips. If we added that little bit of a windshield wipe, let's come back to stillness. We're going to come to our bridge pose. So we're going to walk the feet in a little bit closer so the ankles are about underneath where our knees are. Feet hip distance maybe a little bit wider for stability. Palms down by our side. Take a nice big inhale and exhale. Let's just lift the hips. Create some space beneath the body. Roll chest towards chin. Pressing both feet firmly down. All 5 toes, the heels. That's all 5 toes on each foot, by the way. Maybe we squeeze our glutes and create a little more space. And then I'm going to give you the option here to flow this. So inhale, we lower down. exhale, we lift back up. Maybe we do that a few times. Maybe we just come back down and enjoy that constructive rest. So again, it depends on what time of day we're doing this and how we're feeling. So you can kind of tailor this to the moment, to yourself in this moment. And finishing out 1 or 2 more of those if we're doing a flow, or 1 or 2 more breaths if we're holding. And then lowering ourselves all the way down. Pausing there. Keeping our movements a little bit gentler, slower. We're either just starting our day or finishing our day. We can always add that windshield wipe anytime we like. And then coming back to stillness, if we added that movement, we're going to hug our right knee into our chest. Maybe we get some movement at the ankle joint, making some circles, going both directions, pointing and flexing the foot, wiggling toes if that feels good to you. Otherwise, you can just enjoy that little bit of release for your hip flexors here. If it's the end of the day, maybe we want to take the left leg out long, flexing that foot, just keeping the hips square. And then making sure the left knee is bent, crossing the right ankle on the left knee and just gently guiding the right knee away from us. Never forcing, kind of like we're opening a rusty gate. And we can just breathe here, breathing into the hip, maybe the glute. If we want a deeper stretch, we pick up the left leg and hands come to the back of the leg. And if we want to deepen the stretch with an exhale, we maybe draw the knee in just a little bit. And then maybe we take a few breaths. And then maybe we use an exhale to deepen. And maybe not. Again, it depends on where you are in your day, how your body feels. You make this your own. Let the breath flow. Maybe we close the eyes. Maybe we rock if that feels good to us. Rocking is soothing. That's why we rock babies. So if you want to rock, whether the leg's lifted or down, take advantage of that. Maybe you get a little massage in the back. Maybe it helps to calm you down. Let's finish 1 more breath here. Coming back to stillness. If we lifted the left leg, let's place it down. Place the right leg down, we're going to change sides. So the left knee hugs in. We can make some circles or point and flex the foot. We can wiggle the toes, anything that feels good here. You might hear some snap, crackle, pops. And then if we like, we can just hold the knee. Maybe we extend the right leg, flexing that foot, keeping the hips square. Take a few breaths here. And then bending the right knee, and if it's not already, placing the ankle on that knee and just gently guiding the knee away from you. Never forceful, listening to our body. We can stay there. So if we've chosen to stay here, this is also a place where we can add some rocking. Or we can hug the right knee into the chest and add rocking there. And if we don't feel like rocking, then we just breathe and maybe we deepen with exhales. So again, make it your own. Eyes can close. Just focus on the breath here. Breathe into the places that need it. Maybe sending some love with your exhale to those places that need a little extra love right now. So let's finish a breath here. If we've lifted the right leg, let's place it down. Place the left leg down, and then again, just pause here in our constructive rest. Again, windshield wiping if that feels good. As you can tell, I like it. Feels good on my back. And then we come back to stillness and we've added that movement. We're going to come to our reclined butterfly. So bottoms of the feet come together. We open up the knees. Now, if we are just waking up or if we feel tight in the inner thigh, we can grab 2 eggs or 2 blocks and just let our thighs or our knees rest on them so we have that support. And if we don't have them, don't worry. You can also use rolled up blankets or rolled up pillows. That's yogi's choice there. And then hands can come wherever we like. If it's evening and we're just winding down, maybe we keep the hands by our side nice and close. Maybe we rest them on our belly. If we're waking up, maybe we want to start to stretch a little bit. So we open the arms up. Maybe we find goalpost arms. Maybe we send the arms overhead. So again, that's yogi's choice, whatever feels good to you in this moment, whether it's AM or PM. We take a few breaths here. Maybe with the exhale, we find a little more release in the inner thighs. Maybe we press the feet together a little bit as we inhale, and then exhale, find some relief or release. And then take a few breaths here, whether we're adding that little bit of pressure in the feet or not, wherever the arms are. Jaws softening, maybe the eyes are closed. You've noticed I've changed my hand position a few times, so you don't have to stick with what you've originally set yourself up in. You can change it. And let's take 1 or 2 more breaths here. Finding that deep breath. And this is where we're going to differentiate between a morning class and an evening class. So first, if this is a morning class, I'm going to have you roll onto your side. So side resting pose, you can rest your head on your arm. Other arm can be on our body. It can be on the floor in front of us. Take as much time here as you need. Just regroup, reset, take a few breaths. And then to keep our back safe, we're going to use our hands, push against the floor to roll ourselves up and come back up to that seated position. And this is where you can spend some time meditating. Perhaps you come back to your breathing techniques or your breathing practice. Maybe you do some journaling at this point. If you're going to be seated for a long period of time, I always recommend sitting on a blanket. It lifts the hips a little bit so the legs don't fall asleep as quickly. It's more comfortable for the knees, and it keeps us warm. And you can spend as much time here as you like. So just kind of resetting your intentions for the day, perhaps, or planning your day a little bit. You can spend as much time here as you need. If you are doing an evening practice, we can use the chair or we can use the wall. And we're going to come to legs up the wall or legs up the chair. So if we come to legs up the wall, it's a personal preference. I actually prefer the legs on a chair, but I'm going to show you legs up the wall. You can use your headboard at the top of your bed too. If you don't have a headboard, you can just use the wall there if you're comfortable putting your feet up there. So I'm just going to show you, you come up to the wall, and you want to come up to the wall on a side angle. So you get as close as you can to the baseboard. And then you just kind of roll yourself back so that your legs come up the wall and they're supported. Arms, again, can be anywhere we like. They can be out to the side. We can rest them on our body. And we spend as much time here as we like. So being in this position is great to help with sleep. And you can just, if you're doing this in bed, you can just roll over and go to sleep at that point. So as I said, spend as much time here as you need to. I'm actually going to show the version on the chair at this point. So we have a chair close by. I like to use a blanket. So this chair has a little bit of a metal edge to it. I like to put a blanket on it just so my feet and my legs don't get cold. You might want a blanket on the ground or a bolster to lift your hips. It might make it more comfortable having your feet resting on the chair to have that. So we just want to come onto our back and bring our legs up on the chair so they're completely supported. And hands can be, again, anywhere we like. They can be by our side. They can rest on our body. We can maybe have a pillow underneath our head. We can wrap a blanket around us to keep us warm. And just find your breath here. Maybe we close the eyes. Jaw softens, cheekbones soften. This is where we can also introduce an eye pillow. I like to have one that has a little bit of weight to it. So this one has a little bit of rice in it. I've made these ones myself. You can make them yourself too. Just a bit of rice and perhaps some dried flowers. This has dried lavender in it because lavender is calming to me. And we just put them on our eyes. It blocks out the light. And then if they have that little bit of weight to them, it engages our parasympathetic nervous system, which tells our body it's time to rest and digest. You can also buy these online or in different yoga stores. You can also introduce an essential oil in the morning practice. I usually recommend something that's uplifting to you. Citrus scents are typically uplifting to most people. In the evening, I recommend something a little more grounding. So this is a grounding blend called Balance by doTERRA. You can use whatever oil, as long as it's a natural oil. that's comforting to you or that you really like. So you can just put a little bit, maybe you put a drop on your eye pillow, maybe you put someone on your back of your neck, or on some pressure points like wrists and elbows, that sort of thing. So again, you can spend as much time here as you like. And if you want, you can pause the video, hang out here. Maybe you fall asleep here, that's totally okay too. But for our purposes now, we're just gonna roll onto our side. So this is how we get out of this pose. Same way, we roll onto our side, come to that side resting pose, spend as much time here as we like, just resetting, regrouping, and again, using our hands to push ourselves up to whatever seated position is comfortable to us in this moment. If we're in bed, we can just go to bed at this point. We can spend some more time here, perhaps meditating or doing some calming breathing practices if it's the evening. So I hope you enjoyed that practice. You can tailor it to the time of day that you're doing it, how you're feeling in that moment, and pause as much as you need to if you want to hang out longer in some of these poses. For now, we're going to end our practice with a nice big inhale through nose, exhale through mouth. We bring our palms to heart center, and namaste.